Hey, this is some guy named Chris, and today I want to talk about custom connectors in Power Platform versus HTTP calls and pulling back data. Let's get started. So I was talking with one of my staff members the other day, and we had a client that wanted us to connect to an API and do an integration. So initially, I had told him, like, do everything in Postman, and then once it's in Postman, we can get it out of Postman and into a custom connector. Should be fairly simple. There's the export, there's the import. And I've had some trouble with the import into custom connectors in the past, but this one actually worked pretty well. So I wanted to show this because it's kind of odd that we were going down the custom connector route, but because of a token, we went a different route. So what we did is inside of our Postman, we call a connector, or sorry, we call an API to get a token. Once we have the token, we need to use that token inside of our API call. So when we start doing this inside of Power Platform, if we have a custom connector, we can make a call, but how do you send in the authorization key into that new custom connector? And so what we're going to show you right here is if I pull up Power Automate, and I'll tell you this is the ending result, but let's go to data and let's go to custom connector. So I've got two custom connectors in here. One is getting the token, the other one is getting the Viking staging endpoints. And in this one, I put as no authorization, and when I imported this into, let's just go and show you. So if I go in here and import, and I'm going to say Viking staging 2. I've got this Viking staging. And what I want to do is just real quick show you that Viking staging file. And we're going to look at the underlying, and you can see here, I've got 3 values: API key, the accept, and the authorization bearer token. But when I import this, seems like it imports everything well, except for I only have the 2 headers. Now, why is this important? Because if I go and create a flow, and let's say I do an instant flow, test 2, I wanted the thing, sorry, there. If I go and get our token, simple enough, and then here I just put, I guess it doesn't matter. I always like to save. And then I want to use the reply of this token in the Viking staging. I only have the 2 headers. I don't have the authorization header, so I can't throw it in. And as I was working with this, I was thinking, like, I know that you can do the HTTP call to get the token, but even if you do that call, can you use the token? So I went a different route with this one, and instead, so we'll leave this up. That's how I was hoping it would work. But what I ended up doing, if we look at, let's edit this. If we look at this flow, no longer are we using the custom connector. We're just doing a manual input. Then I am getting the HTTP GET token, and underneath the advanced options here, we have the different authorizations, and we're using basic. Then I'm parsing up that body with the properties that I received from generating from the sample, using from Postman. And then I'm using those values and doing the call to get the data. A little bit different. I like it because it's quick. My concern, reusability. Because of the token and not being able to show the authorization value within the custom connector, that is the only reason I wouldn't do this. However, that was also importing into the custom connector. So potentially, if in fact I were to redefine all of this and put the headers in, for instance, let's try that. If I did this, new action, test, we're gonna do a get, and I put authorization, get that out of the way. What was the other one? Next up, API key. Let's just see what authorizations show. So authorization does show. Now it has an exclamation point, and I'm pretty sure it's doing an exclamation point because it is it is a restricted value. So that's why it's not importing, not showing. Makes sense. But that's the only way I could see us using custom connector with a token, is to now use HTTP calls versus the custom connector. If anyone has a better approach, please let me know down in the comments below. I'm very interested. I can always test it out and do a video on it, but HTTP call definitely works. Not as repeatable, but definitely seems like it could work. Thanks. It's been some guy named Chris. Have a great one.